Hi, welcome to my channel, Grit, Grind and Gratitude, where we talk to micro entrepreneurs about their journey of becoming a micro entrepreneur and walking that path. Grit, Grind and Gratitude shares stories of resilience, of purpose, and values led entrepreneurs who are shaping their futures boldly. Welcome, Kamakya and Jeeta, to our channel, Grit, Grind and Gratitude, which covers entrepreneurial journeys like yours. Tell us, Kamakya, about you and how you want the world to know about you, and Kruti Coffee, which is the venture that we are interviewing today.
Thanks, Dipanvita. It's a fantastic platform and initiative. It's a pleasure for both me and Jeeta to share our story here in context of Kruti Coffee. I come from, in terms of academic background, I come from a background in medicine and health management. And I always say on a lighter note that after I quit that field, India's mortality has improved. So that's the non-serious part. On the serious part, why I got into something which is unrelated like coffee or specialty coffee, it's been an interesting organic journey. So I'm brought up in a tribal district in Odisha called Koraput. My father was into tribal activism and land rights. He fought for many years to get land rights to one particular tribal village called Kindriguda in Koraput, Odisha. And as the land rights came in, the adjoining land was a government land, and there was a coffee project coming up. And my father integrated the government official effort with the tribal community. So 1 acre per family, that's how it all started in the mid-90s. And towards the end of the 90s, it was a ready plantation when we handed it over to the government agencies and the tribal villages. Unfortunately, that whole plantation was dead within a couple of years because of multiple factors. Like one, the plantation was planned as a productive plantation, which is difficult to manage for financially challenged people because high production is always high maintenance. So that was a bad decision on part of the people who planned it. And there was not enough handholding for the tribals to take care of a complex crop like coffee. And then maybe within a few years, I lost my father, and then that project went into oblivion, and I was not ready. I had just started working in the early 2000s, and almost after a decade, me and my batchmate of masters from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Amol, we were just visiting this village to see how this project is. I think it was 2012-13, and it was still a dead plantation, and that's when we decided we'd do something. Our intention was to work in public health, but very quickly we realized that what any challenged community needs is livelihood. It's only after that they take care of things like education and health. And that's how we got into it. It took 5 years to revive that plantation. In 2018, the plantation got active again, productive again. Very little produce, but that's when a few other friends joined. Mostly my colleagues from the insurance world who were NRIs, they supported the project and kept adding, like we had more friends joining in. And we started our first cafe in Bhubaneswar in 2018. Then I moved to Hong Kong because I had taken a few years break to set this project up, and then I took up the Asia-wide role there. And then COVID hit in. And just baby steps for Kruti Coffee, and I got stuck in Hong Kong. So it was a very difficult cusp, and that's when, as luck would be, I got exposed to specialty coffee. I started my journey with the world's #1 coffee skills body, which is Specialty Coffee Association. I started with sensory brewing, but then I got hooked into roasting. So I finished all the level of roasting, which is professional level. In the meantime, kept transferring my know-hows to the team in India, and as fate would take us towards the right direction, in 2023, it's that same Kindriguda Plantations Naturals, which was awarded India's #1 Arabica Naturals at the World Coffee Conference. Just around the time I was already planning my move back to India. And it's around that time, even before I came, I connected with Geeta, and she started supporting this venture from the day one. Her contribution was more like a sounding board, more the networks, the rich network she has in a diverse field, which kept adding a lot of value in terms of the visibility that Kruti Coffee started getting, you know. And for almost a couple of years, she contributed to the mission pro bono and got into it, full-time co-founder's role a year back, and after that we have really taken huge leaps. It's all the energy from all of us that's come in, and that's where it's been more Jita, me, Jivan, Amol, driving the story from the ground, and of course with great support from other founders.
Lovely hearing your story. Please tell us, which year was all of this happening when Geeta joined? And so this was 2024 beginning?
No, I think Geeta has been helping since a part of 22, the later half of 22. But yeah, more so from the beginning of 2023. And that's how it is.
So Geeta, tell us about your part of the journey.
So, Dipanwata, I am from the fragrance and beauty background. I have worked, of course, I started with automobiles, as you know, and then moved into personal care, fragrance and beauty. So that's been my major, in corporate, that's been my major experience. But that's all been sensory, right? And then I used to go home to India. I live in the UK, used to go home to India. And I used to experience this beautiful, story of the coffee and something which was happening there, which really, I got very interested in it, interested in this whole thing, this whole plot that was unfolding. So, and that's how I got involved, just because I was interested, just because I was seeing something beautiful happening right where I was born. And so that's how I got involved, more so because I thought it was interesting, it was beautiful, it was sensory. So it was also sort of speaking to my fragrance background in a sensory sort of way. And the team, Kamakhya, they were doing fantastic work, in terms of helping the tribal communities, in terms of what was happening around, and they were developing a beautiful product, So my coffee knowledge was pretty basic when I started off, but I learned, and the interest kept, improving and graduating. So I sort of said that, I want to be involved in this. I mean, not because I'm interested in financially, but because I just find it very interesting, very beautiful, the project, the way it was all unfolding. So that's how I got involved, like Kamakhya said, and the team embraced me quite enthusiastically, even though I was an outsider, not from the coffee world. But they were very friendly, and they would take my advice on board, and so I felt part of the team, even though I was not formally involved. So that's how the journey started, and as and when things started evolving, then the discussion was, why don't I get involved? I like it so much and enjoy it. Can I contribute more if I'm formally involved? So that's how the journey started. And like Kamakhya said, 3 years I was just sort of on and off and advising, sounding board, all of that. And then a year back I formally got involved, where I'm now a co-founder, and I look after the global expansion and the marketing part of it and the business part of it, together with, of course, other co-founders. We have, like Kamakhya said, 4 active co-founders at the moment, and we all sort of pull together, and hopefully the journey will go a long way.
Cool. I had the privilege of tasting some of your coffee and the drip bag coffee that Geeta got for me when she was visiting Dubai. And then in my last trip to India, I also got gifted the Kruti Coffee candles, and I'm enjoying it. Even today, while we are interviewing, I have the Kruti Coffee candles lit up, and the smell is divine. The product is excellent. And I was telling Geeta just a little while back that I have a vested interest in you coming to the World of Coffee event in Dubai, so that I get more of those candles. Okay, so going back now, tell us about what need in the market, because there are many coffee brands, right from Starbucks to specialty coffee. There are many such coffee brands. What need in the market are you filling in, and what is it about your coffee that people are liking?
So let me take a stab at it, and then of course Jita can share her perspective. We are fulfilling the need across the value chain. One way of looking at it is purely from a consumer perspective, what the consumer need. But at the end of the day, right from the farm, where we are impacting the livelihood needs. When you come to the value chain, we are creating a lot of talent pool which should not have got the type of acceptance and career path, and especially coming from underprivileged backgrounds to get into this type of roles. So that's also a need we are fulfilling. On the last mile, of course, we are fulfilling a very critical need that the Indian consumer, if I can say, is exponentially growing in understanding of good and bad coffee. However, the availability of good coffee is limited, and we're definitely bridging that gap. Both because the producers that we work with are some of the best you have in India. It's not only Odisha we are working with. We're now procuring coffee from 4 states. And wherever we procure from, the coffee needs to stand out when we do the sampling. But at the same time, we also roast the coffee, which is the most important step, based on the experience I could gain from SCA, that too from one of the best locations in Asia where specialty coffee has been growing in terms of its appreciation and creation for almost a couple of decades, and that's Hong Kong. So it's all about providing a high quality specialty coffee to an audience, both in terms of volume and ability to appreciate coffee is growing.
So if I can add, Dipanwita, a few things. Globally, if you see, globally it's a coffee drinking, world. So I know in India we sort of have more tea drinking. In the UK, obviously, the tea drinking, but it's slowly it's moving. The tipping point is happening. So people are moving into coffee. Even in the UK, of course, Europe always has been more coffee drinking, and so has America or the US. But what was unfolding is this whole drive towards specialty coffee. So earlier, what coffee used to be, it was like a caffeine shot, right? So espresso, you had the espresso, you had it. So it was a bitter drink. You just took a shot, and then you got your caffeine hit, and that's it. That's it. That's what it was. It was not about flavors. It was not about sipping it casually. It was in a very few, instances. It was more about getting the caffeine hit. So specialty coffee slowly has been unfolding for a few years now, and it is all about savoring the moment. Savoring the different flavors that coffee has, and not just getting the caffeine hit. And that's what specialty coffee is all about. And that's where I personally see that there is a gap. It is about the slow life, the slow movement that is slowly coming about, which is why the customers who have embraced the specialty coffee movement, or the specialty coffee consumers, are the 19 to 24 age band. Interestingly, these are the people who have seen their parents always stressing or moving around, and they really appreciate the slow life. And they also, obviously, there is the whole social media thing, so they also want Instagrammable moments, and this is all about hand brewing and doing it slowly. It has a visual impact. So all of that coming together really creates something which is unique, which is different, which did not exist in the parlance. And that's what I think is quite interesting, and that's the gap I think we are and we will be fulfilling more and more as and when we go along. So India, from a specialty coffee perspective, is one of the largest or the fastest growing markets at the moment. So that's very interesting. And in fact, it is, Kamakya was here in the UK a few months ago, and before that as well. And we realized that from a specialty coffee angle, India is ahead in terms of where it is at this point in time, in terms of adoption, in terms of people understanding what is specialty coffee, in terms of availability of even the drip bags. The drip bags are not so easily available in the UK as they are in India at the moment, thanks to brands like us and some of our competition as well. So from that perspective, it's in a very interesting cusp of the whole story. It's still not mainstream, but there is a lot of scope for it to become mainstream, and that's what makes it so interesting. So there is this need, there is this gap, and here we are starting off in a small way, but our dreams are big.
Wow. Kamakya, tell me how many people are there totally in your as employees, the total team strength apart from the founders team?
So in our corporate office, we have close to 20 employees. But that's only our corporate office. And each of the cafes, we employ 15 to 20 employees. So if you look at it as Kruti Coffee as an umbrella, we have employed close to 200 people.
Yeah, so you are slightly bigger than a micro entrepreneur, because typically we look at micro entrepreneurs where we have 15 to 20 employees, but you are much bigger than that. How many stores do you have?
So at this point of time, we have 11 live cafes. The 12th and 13th are being set up right now. 11 spread across 8 cities in 4 different states.
Okay, cool. Also, I know that you guys are doing some turmeric drink and some mint shots. I was lucky to experience that during my recent visit to Bhubaneswar. So share a bit about that as well, because that's a bit aside from the coffee part.
Yes. So I think we always try to be a conscious organization. We also educate people to moderate their coffee drinking. Where is it that it's the right shot? At what time of the day you should try to finish it, etc. Because it's always a little bit of a commercial cost, but we always try to be a little conscious. During the pandemic, we decided that we'll start serving a good detox shot from spices produced by the community that we support and their extended appendages, if I can put it. So we got some very good quality black pepper, honey, turmeric, and we created our turmeric latte. But we also created turmeric detox, because majority of Indians are not essentially lactose tolerant. So we know that without milk you need to have an option. But then we also created a shot which you tried, which is with mint, black pepper, honey, and turmeric, which is a shot which we give across our cafes, because there is enough empirical medical evidence to substantiate that many of the Indian spices which I spoke about, they raise the innate immunity, which is not the direct immunity, which is antibodies, but it's the innate immunity, like the macrophages, etc., which is your infantry of blood cells which fight anything. And we said, why not? Let's try to play a small bit. And it's turned out to be very tasty. So people offer to purchase it, but we don't sell it.
Oh, you don't sell it? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember I spoke that, can you make a dried version of that so that I can make it and I can carry it with me to Dubai, because I really loved it. I'm not much of a coffee drinker myself, so therefore. Also, I want to talk about one of you, please talk about the whole mural that the Kruti Coffee main office, the main cafe has, which is from an artist from Odisha. So just touch upon that for our listeners, please.
It's not only our main cafe or the flagship cafe, it's across our cafes. If you go to any of the Kruti Coffee outlet, you will find that art form is called Saura art. It is more than 4,000-year-old art form. And it's mostly done by the tribal community in Odisha. It's very close to Wadli that you find in Maharashtra, for example. But Wadli has straight strokes and it has curves, so more expressive is how we put it. And we have been supporting artist Rajeshwar Patnaik for over a decade. He's a state awardee Pattachitra and Saura artist. So he illustrates it in our cafes wherever he can. Wherever he cannot go, we put a digital version of that on the walls. And if you have seen our packagings little minutely or closely, you'll find that most of our packaging have a Saura illustration representing the coffee we're talking about. That's also done by Brajeshwar.
And it's lovely. It's lovely to see that. Tell me, this has been now a journey of what, 10 years, 10 plus years?
Yeah, it's more than 10 years if you look at it as a concept, but commercially it's the 7th year.
And for Jita, 3 years as a pro bono and almost close to what, how many years as a co-founder?
A year, almost a year. So yeah, about 4 years in total. I mean, Kamakya and I got talking during the COVID period, but just to understand, we got introduced to common friends through a supplier, in fact. So we got talking, and just about, at that time, I obviously couldn't visit the cafe, but I knew that this existed and something interesting was happening. So you can say from 2020 onwards, I got inkling of it. And actual involvement started happening more from 2022, 23, and then formal involvement from a year back. Yeah.
So tell me, during this time, Kamakya and Jita, you can take turns to share. What are your high points, through this journey, and then we come to the challenges part.
I would say the high point obviously have been being recognized by others, especially the first prize at the World Coffee Conference, 5th World Coffee Conference for the farm, which we adapted and we started Kruti Coffee, is a big validation of the effort and the fact that we have also moved into specialty coffee. It's also validation of the quality, right? So that's a big high point. The fact that we have some extremely respectable B2B partners now is also an acceptance or a validation of what we are doing. The fact that whatever events we have used to connect internationally, there has been a good appreciation of our coffee is probably what I would say is a huge validation of what we are doing. I'll speak about the challenges later. Maybe Jita can think of a few.
I just want to delve deeper because I know that you did not apply for the award. Yes, one of the tasters actually tasted and asked you to apply for the award. So please delve a little deeper for our listeners around that journey, that part.
Yeah. In fact, Coffee Board has been extremely supportive of our initiatives because they have seen live. So the gentleman who is in charge of Coffee Board in Odisha, Upendraji, he just said, why don't you guys give your sample? We didn't know what he asked it for. And even when our team went to World Coffee Conference, 5th World Coffee Conference, which was the first time it was held in India, we had no clue that there's an award as well as an appreciation or a competition which is evaluating coffees of India, And the judges were also international judges and a bunch of Indian experts, etc. So when the award in one category, because we got the award in naturals, that was also washed and others, it's how the cherry gets processed. That's how they name it, as natural or washed. And we got the first in naturals, which is a tougher process to get it right. So yes, when you have not sort of applied for an award or you are aspiring for an award and somebody is organically picking from so many samples and considering what you have done as the best in India, which is like such a competitive space, I think it's very satisfying.
It is an awesome part of, and I really loved that part. Jita, over to you.
For me, it's two things actually. One, already Kamak has touched upon a little bit, which is essentially about getting the appreciation from others, and especially when you get it from international markets, where typically everybody thinks that the coffee from international markets is better, or Indian coffee, unfortunately, has always been sort of seen as a commodity. So when somebody appreciated, everywhere I have brewed in the UK or anywhere outside of India, even within India, people have appreciated it a lot, and they've said that, oh my God, this coffee is better than what we have had, or this is something different. They appreciate it, and this includes people from. So I met the MD recently at a trade show, and he didn't even know that something like drip bags existed, and he took a sample from me, and he said, "Oh, it looks beautiful," and then he gave me feedback saying it's delicious. So that validates really in terms of the product quality and what we are aspiring to do. So that's a big thing that gives a big high to me as a salesperson. What better validation can it be when you have a hero product on your hand? The second thing that really gives me a kick is the fact that we employ so many people, and many of them have actually made their careers with us. So people from tribal backgrounds who've become baristas, people without much educational or unfortunately in India we still have this whole English speaking capability as a part of where you can grow in your career. So people not having those skills have actually come in and then have grown from a base that is not very that wouldn't have taken them very far, but they have really built their career with us, and they're now one of them. For example, Kamakimita is now she's one of the head baristas, right?
She's the deputy roaster, which is even
deputy roaster as well. Yeah. So she's, and getting roasting skills is not easy, So because Kamakya is an SCA roaster, so he's able to train, and they have now she's roasting big batches, and coffee roasting is the most important bit apart from the green beans, the quality of the green beans, the way you roast it, that's how the flavor comes out. And you could go completely wrong with it as well if you're not careful. So the fact that she's come to that level from a very basic standard of, I think she's just done her schooling and joined us. So that gives me a big kick that we're able to support so many people.
Transform people's lives, actually. Support is a small, it's a very modest word.
Yeah. Yes, we tend to be modest, but you can use all the good words, no problem.
Actually, the more and more I hear your story, what it reminds me of is fair trade principles, being at the center of it. And I told you before also that I'm not much of a coffee drinker, but when I drink my tea, I'm very conscious as to where I'm buying my tea from. And is there fair trade principles? Am I supporting? So I can hear the echo of that in your journey as well. Tell us about the challenges, because I'm sure that there is, a lot of it that you've undergone.
No, before I get into the challenges, I would like to dive a little bit into the fair trade aspect. So we have always been extremely conscious to be fair across the value chain. But the good thing that has happened in coffee globally, in specialty coffee especially, is that Specialty Coffee Association, which defines how quality gets evaluated in coffee, has moved to a new round of evaluation, a new pattern of evaluation since 2024, which is called a CVA, Coffee Value Assessment. So it's just not the cupping score anymore. It also is about your intrinsic and extrinsic factors. So intrinsic is the quality of the green bean, the density, etc. On the extrinsic side, they have added traceability, the social impact, the ecological impact. So the combination of these factors actually defines whether coffee is good or bad, right? So it's really encouraging for people like us who have been ensuring a good quality coffee, but at the same time ensuring a good quality life for everybody involved in the value chain. And now that gets recognized in actually certifying coffee as good. So it's a good thing that has happened. Now coming to the challenge,
way of proceeding.
Yes.
Ethical way of producing, yeah.
Correct. So coming to the challenges, I would say, like any business which you're trying to build ethically always comes with certain challenges, because you're not even making small compromises to, gain in terms of business. Number two, we are trying something where the market is evolving its understanding, right? So specialty coffee will be much wider thing in India maybe in 2 to 3 years time, but we have been honest in our specialty coffee journey completely since 2021. Like when I got the knowledge, understanding of specialty coffee, the first thing we moved was the farm, and then rest of the value chain. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. So how we bridge that is primarily by conducting a lot of coffee appreciation sessions, which we call as 101 session, where we actually teach coffee enthusiasts what is the whole journey of coffee from farm to cup. How do we actually make coffee tastes the way it is from the way we process it, the way we roast it, the way we brew it. And that really makes people understand that it's not as as commoditized a drink as it has been made to by some players. It's a very nuanced product, just like your single malt whiskey or a fine wine. And the reason we picked it consciously is because then we can compete not by volume but by value.
So true.
Maybe Jita might have something on the market aspect challenges that might help in the perspective.
Yeah, well, marketing always is challenging for any product. I mean, Dipanuta, I'm sure you remember it from our automobile days as well. But like I said, when the product is a hero product mostly, then it makes the challenge a little bit easier. But of course, there are a lot of regulatories and other things that one has to take into account. And then, as Kamakya always says, that your reputation as good as your last batch of coffee. So you have to continuously make sure that your quality is good, consistently. So that obviously is a challenge. And then there are logistics challenges. For example, in the UK, we have the Indian High Commission, who is now regularly buying our gift sets, but getting them couriered from India to the UK has been a consistent challenge for us, because obviously we're not a large company and we're not sending large amounts of goods from India to the UK. So it sort of puts a lot of challenge into the team. But I'm happy to say that we all rise up to the challenge as a team. We want these prestigious projects to succeed. So we put all our efforts in, and so far we have sort of executed to a level that we are happy with. There's room for better scope for improvement, of course, but we are at it.
Any challenges around employee training, the last mile person who's serving the customer? Any challenges around that?
First of all, the availability of talent pool, which can be truly called as specialty coffee talent pool, is a huge challenge, especially because we have grown a lot in the last 1 year, right? So we have added around 8 cafes in the last 1 year itself. So getting talented resource from the market is a challenge. So we have to create it. So we do that. But to create and sort of retain, it needs a hell lot of effort to really ensure that that happens. So talent is definitely a challenge. However, the good thing is that the transition at the speed at which the specialty coffee transition is happening, even the players are rising to the occasion and creating a constant pipeline of talent pool. And but it will be a catch-up game for, I would say, next 5 to 10 years.
In South Africa, there's a lot of specialty coffee, and I'm just like, as you're talking, I'm reminded of, again and again, that maybe we should introduce Kruti Coffee to South Africa, because especially in my community in South Africa was a conscious community into conscious consumption, and they would love something like Kruti Coffee. So, yeah.
Incidentally, as we are speaking, the South African cricket team is in Odisha for a 2020 match, and today morning they were in one of our cafes.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Because South Africa is also very, very, very highly coffee drinking country. Yeah, people literally survive through the day on coffee, actually. Yeah. Any other challenges that comes to the mind that you want to share with especially challenges that you've overcome, especially during the initial stages when you had your first cafe, first storefront, anything from those times?
I'll probably break the challenges into zone of 5 years. The first 5 years, the challenge was to revive a plantation, and that too, reviving without understanding coffee, without understanding farming. So me and Amol neither come from a farming background or a coffee background. So we had to really do a lot of effort in the initial days when both of us were there, then others joined us. That was the first 5 years. The next 5 years was moving coffee from regular coffee to specialty coffee, right? And currently we are in that last zone of 5 years where we are not only creating high quality product, but we are also trying to do the right market connect, where Jita has been a great asset. But at the same time, like the market's, pace of adapting to specialty coffee is a little bit of a challenge. So, like I would say, it's a healthy challenge because that way we are pushing the entire market to go towards a different direction. And thankfully, that demographic dividend we have in India of more than 65% under the age of 35 is connecting very nicely with the evolution of specialty coffee across the globe.
And how many franchisees do you have, and how many company-owned cafes?
So, two of our cafes are company-owned, rest are all franchise, but totally managed by us. We only do one franchise model, which is FOCO, which is franchise-owned, company-operated, so to maintain consistency and clear indication of the specialty standards and other standards that we follow.
I'm mindful of the time, of the amount of time I booked from you. So just let's move on to what will be the nuggets of wisdom from your journey on Kruti Coffee that you want to share with entrepreneurs or micro entrepreneurs that are sitting on their passion project and not able to make the jump?
I can share my bit, then Geeta can share hers. I would always say there is always light at the end of the tunnel if you are ethical and you're honest about your effort, but however, the results are going to be long term. We didn't start Kruti Coffee with a pitch deck. We started Kruti Coffee with a mission and a vision, and we went towards, crossing a few milestones. But then you reach as a business, as an entrepreneur, a point always where you have to put your numbers together, right? But sometimes always starting with numbers may not be the best thing to do. Sometimes I would always say for budding entrepreneurs that either you take up a job in the space that you're interested, or take up an internship, or spend time understanding, or dirty your hand, not with expectations which cannot be fulfilled in near future. It's a patient game if you're looking at entrepreneurship, especially if it is social entrepreneurship. Maybe Geeta might have a different perspective on something else.
No, pretty much similar. Apart from the long-term bit, I would say that people think that entrepreneurship is quite easy, and then it's actually much harder sometimes because you don't have the pot of money coming to you at the end of at every month, and that's a big comfort which a lot of the people who are employed, because I've worked as well before jumping into the entrepreneurship ship. So that comfort is a huge comfort which many of the people who have a regular work, like a work life, they don't appreciate that. So when you're jumping that, you will not have that comfort. So it's always challenging. But however, having said that, the rewards are also equally, it's a risk reward ratio, right? You've taken the risk, but the rewards can also be multifold. But having said that, there is it's a risk. So there is a possibility that there is no reward. So you have to be in it in the long game. I mean, you have to be passionate about whatever you want to do, because if you're not passionate, you'll not be able to sustain the long game. So you really need to think. I think that will be my advice to all budding on micro entrepreneurs or somebody who wants to jump ship, is to really think about whether this is really my passion, or is it just because I just want to be an entrepreneur for the sake of being an entrepreneur, because that's not going to cut the ice.
There's a lot of grit, a lot of grind, and oodles of gratitude for not only the journey and the reward that it brings to you. I always share that freedom is what I really enjoy in my journey as a micro entrepreneur. I'm sure you also have experienced that. The freedom to be deciding where I want to take this venture. And you eat, sleep, drink your passion, and that's when the entrepreneurship journey converts into a sustainable business. So thanks a lot, Geeta and Kamakya, for sparing your time today and bringing your journey of grit, grind, and lots of gratitude to our listeners.
Thanks, Dipanvita. Pleasure was all ours, and I think it's always good to share your story in platforms which have that ease of conversation we had today.
Thank you for having us. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you. If you like this interview, please don't forget to subscribe by pressing the bell icon and follow us on our social media handles as we talk to more and more micro entrepreneurs who are living their dreams boldly.